All right, so because there seems to be a trend of people doing things that are legal and then finding out, oh, hey, the ATF, under their cynical eyes, interpret the law this way, and then people are facing big time. Example, Dugan Ashley. He's the most recent victim of this. We're going to go over the definition of a machine gun, and we're going to look through it through the cynical eyes of the ATF to try to prevent you from accidentally getting tripped up on something and wind up being in federal court facing the ATF, which is not a good place to be in. So, yes, I already did this video once before. It was a long time ago, though, and that video was more focused around why the auto key card is not a machine gun. And yes, before you ask, yes, that does eliminate mens rea. And yes, they did play that at trial. And yes, the judge did see it. And yes, at that point, because it's a fact, I didn't have mens rea because you need actus rea and mens rea to convict somebody of a conspiracy. And because I didn't have mens rea and that was a fact, yes, the judge should have stopped the trial and dismissed the case right then and there. But that didn't happen. So pushing that aside, we're going to redo this. We're going to update the machine gun definition video because the definition video I did back then, that was how us logical people that have brains inside of our heads would interpret these laws. We're going to take out our brain and we're going to look through the cynical eyes of the ATF and how they would interpret the machine gun definition. This way you can be aware of it so you don't wind up getting caught up on something stupid. Now, before we get into this video, don't forget to shop at OnlyTacticalFans at Shopify.com. That is the merchandise store that supports all of this. Remember, I'm permanently demonetized from YouTube, and your guys' help there really does make a difference. And I have plenty of medical gear, survival gear, some stuff for your firearms you might need, all types of good stuff that if you're watching this video, you probably need, so you should probably go check it out immediately. And for the people that have already shopped there, thank you. So, let's get into the video. To the Jumbotron of knowledge. What is a machine gun? We're going to tear apart the legal definitions. And again, remember, we're removing our brains and we're looking at it cynically. This way you don't accidentally become a felon. Just a couple of things you should watch out for. So what do we got here? The term machine gun means any weapon which shoots, is designed to shoot, or can be readily restored to shoot automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by one single function of the trigger. Subdefinition: any frame or receiver, any part designed intended solely and exclusively, or combination of parts for which a weapon can be converted into a machine gun, and any combination of parts which a machine gun can be assembled if in possession or control of a person. I probably shouldn't have said in person because it's not there. All right, so number one, let's look at the main part of it. Any weapon which can shoot automatically with a single function of the trigger. So if you pull the trigger to the rear and it fires more than one shot, that is a machine gun. Now, this is where the rear breed triggers and binary triggers and stuff ain't, because the rear breed trigger, you pull it to the rear, it fires one shot. Now the trigger needs to go forward, reset, and come to the rear again. So that's why a rear breed trigger is not a machine gun. A binary trigger, you pull it to the rear, it fires once, and then when you let it go, it fires once. That is why that is not a machine gun. Now they tried faking this. They took a zip tie, and they put it on a rear breed trigger, and they tightened it up until it started bouncing. And yes, the trigger was still moving and still resetting, but the ATF counted that as a machine gun, and that's how they were trying to shove the rear breed trigger through the hole of machine guns. So these are what actual machine guns are. Again, you pull the trigger, it fires more than once. We got the M2 Browning machine gun. You got the M60 or M240B or the SAW or any of those, any belt-fed machine guns. Again, they have semi-automatic versions, but any belt-fed machine gun where you pull the trigger and it fires more than once. A Vulcan cannon, an M134. These are all easily identifiable as a machine gun. So I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on this term because this one's pretty self-explanatory. You pull the trigger, it fires more than once, that's a machine gun. Now, where the term starts getting convoluted. Designed to shoot is designed to shoot automatically. So this means it doesn't have to currently be shooting automatically, it just has to be designed to shoot automatically. You're like, well, hey CRS, that doesn't make any sense at all. How can something not shoot automatically but be designed to shoot automatically? And what's a good example of this? Well, I got you, boy. This is where the AA-12 is not on the market. They said even though they made this in semi-automatic, this is designed to shoot full auto. So because it's designed to shoot full auto, that's why the ATF went and confiscated them and ultimately shut down this company. Will we ultimately ever see these come out of the market? I don't know. Yes, they do fire semi-automatic. They only fire once when you pull the trigger. But the ATF is claiming, well, this was designed to shoot automatically, so therefore, this is a machine gun. Again, weird interpretations. Can be readily restored to shoot. So what does that mean? Like, how is that different than an AR-15? An AR-15, you got to drill a hole. I mean, that's pretty simple. Yeah, there's a little bit more to it than that, but so where's the line? How is something more readily convertible than drilling a hole? This is where your open bolt, like Tech 9s and stuff, got banned from. They're saying because this is an open bolt, and all you have to do is stop the bolt from being caught, and now you have a machine gun. This is readily restored to be able to shoot automatically. That's why you don't see any of the open bolts out there anymore. Because with an open bolt, your trigger just releases the bolt goes forward, it's got a fixed firing pin, boom, it sets off the round, the bolt comes back, it catches a secondary catch, and then it catches the bolt. The machine gun version of that, you pull the trigger, the bolt goes forward, and it keeps going forward and back, setting off the next round, like Uzis, open bolt guns, anything like that, until you let go of the trigger. Then once the trigger lets go, it booms up, and it catches the bolt. They're saying that is readily restorable. Frames or receivers. So any frame or receiver, this is identifiable because you got the third pin on your AR-15. Now this definition got weird because it was understood before if the receiver was destroyed, that was okay. Well, Tate found out that that wasn't okay. So any machine gun receiver, destroyed or not, remember, cynical eyes of the ATF, that is a machine gun. So be careful if you are in building kits or anything like that. Man, like, say for example, you're getting a parts kit of an AK and that was a full auto AK and you still got the part where the third pin is, I'd probably recommend just throwing that piece away. You're not going to use the receiver anyway, just cut that little piece of receiver out and throw it away, because then that could have been a semi-automatic receiver that was cut up. Just avoid that altogether unless you are an SOT and you are building machine guns. Now, look, there is a huge market on parts kits. They're actively being sold today. What Tate went to prison for is still being actively sold today. Be cautious. There's no reason Tate should have ever popped up on an ATF radar, and yet he did. So that could be you next. Any part designed solely and exclusively for converting a firearm into a machine gun. So what are we talking about here? This is the Yankee Boogle, because this is one part. Now, the guy that was actually making these, the portable wall hangers, he did get convicted, but he did not get convicted for this. He winded up pleading out on a silencer. My guess is because this was also a wall hanger and they charged him under solely and exclusively, they were worried if this went to an appellate court, he might actually win, because this isn't solely and exclusively a machine gun conversion device, because it's also a wall hanger. Congress put that definition in there so they can't come into your house, grab a metal coat hanger and be like, oh, that's a machine gun. Yes, you can make a machine gun conversion device out of it, and after you make the machine gun conversion device, now it has no other point but converting a firearm to a machine gun. So, let's pretend you had this, they would most certainly indict you. You would get indicted, you would probably be convicted at trial, and you'd have to go to the appellate court and try to argue that, hey, because this is not solely and exclusively a machine gun conversion device, it doesn't meet the definition. Would you eventually win? I don't know. I believe that's why they pled him out, is because they were worried he may actually win, because the law is clear. It's got to be solely and exclusively. So this is without a doubt solely and exclusively a machine gun conversion device. There's no argument there. This has an argument. So, I don't know. It would have been interesting to see him go through trial in the appellate process to see what would have happened. Now remember, when he would have went through the appellate process, Joe Biden would have been president, and that makes it a lot harder to win these types of cases. So now, after the Bruin decision and after all of this, would he win on appeal? Man, I don't know. I think he had a decent shot. I don't think it was the greatest shot, but I do think there was a shot there. So, again, solely and exclusively a part you can drop into your firearm. So that would be if you did make a machine gun conversion device out of a hanger, you did have a Yankee Boogle, you did have a lightning link, any one of those machine gun conversion devices, because that's all they can do is convert a firearm to a machine gun, it falls under that definition. Now we got any combination of parts designed and intended for converting a firearm or converting a weapon to a machine gun. Now, the obvious thing here is your lightning links and your Glock switches. Well, looking over this definition over and over again, through the cynical eyes of the ATF, without a doubt, because all basically AR-15s already have one part that's an M16 bolt carrier, if you have any of these extra parts, the sear, the trigger, the disconnector, and no, this trigger is not the same as a semi-automatic trigger. A semi-automatic trigger has a block back here, a full auto trigger, it goes straight through. There's a valley cut in there for this piece to stick out. Hammer or selector, you have parts or a combination in parts designed and intended for converting a firearm to a machine gun. So I strongly recommend do not have any of these parts if you have an AR-15. But let's pretend you didn't have an AR-15. Here's two parts, here's two parts, here's two parts, here's two parts. Remember, the definition doesn't say how many parts, it's just got to be parts with an S, more than one. If you have any two of these right here, man, you fall under the definition of combination of parts. Would you get convicted? I don't know. Would the judge throw it out? I don't know. My case should have been thrown out. Could you wind up going to prison for those? Yeah. Are you probably going to take a plea deal because then you're only going to get a year maybe and just be a prohibited person, or are you going to run it to trial and possibly get up to 5 years? That's your call. I would strongly recommend not having any of these parts, and because I know these are in common circulation, I know that affects a lot of people. Play it safe, guys. Just don't. Here's the line. Build a moat 10 foot around the line and don't go anywhere near it just to play it safe. That's what I strongly recommend. And I think this is probably the most understood definition right here, because this is what could wrap up a lot of people. I didn't understand this definition. So, because I'm like, oh, these are all sold as a pack together. They clearly must be legal. No, not through the cynical eyes of the ATF. If they want you, yeah, right now I could go on Gunbroker and I can buy kits with all of these parts here. And yes, that is technically the definition of a machine gun. I just assumed that meant the parts were legal. No, these definitely tripped the definition. Any combination of parts which a machine gun can be assembled by. So that's if you have everything. Here's a great example. So you've bought an M16 conversion kit or M16 parts kit. Now you've already tripped the definition of a machine gun with just two of these parts, because these are all full auto parts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts here. You only got to have two. So we're going to pretend that they didn't use the cynical definition. The next definition is, all right, so you got this parts kit. You got a receiver. It doesn't have a third hole because this would be a different definition. But you got a receiver, possibly one with an M16 pocket in it. You have a jig to drill the third hole for your auto sear. You have an auto sear, and you have an M16 bolt carrier. Yes, this cannot fire automatically. It cannot fire more than one shot from a single function of the trigger, but the definition clearly says if you're in possession of all of these parts, that trips the definition. I kind of think that's their catch-all. So let's pretend, I don't know, you got an AR-15, you got a coat hanger. They might argue that, hey, because you have an AR-15 and a wire coat hanger, you're in possession of all the parts required to make a machine gun. Would they go that cynical? They could. So, I mean, just be aware of that. So I wouldn't have a coat hanger laying on my workbench next to my AR-15, because all you need is a detective to snap a picture of that, and that picture to show up at trial, and then a video explaining or a Google post explaining how to convert an AR-15 to a machine gun with a wire coat hanger. So just remember, it's not what reality is. Oh, I would have never went to prison. It's what they can connect the dots and try to manipulate and form into their own reality. Just be aware of it. Make sure your work areas are sanitized. Don't have stuff there that looks like you're trying to make a machine gun. Yeah, you may not be trying to make a machine gun, but doesn't look like it. Because again, we're looking through the cynical eyes of the ATF. We're trying to prevent you from winding up being the next Dugan Ashley or Tate or CRS. All right, so what is the clear takeaway here? If you call the ATF and ask if something's legal, because that's honestly an option. You can be like, hey, I'm looking at this post on Gunbroker. It's got a fire control of an M16. Is that illegal? And he says no. Do not rely on his verbal authorization. Do a follow-up email. Be like, hey, I called you and here's a picture of the parts I was talking about. You said these were not illegal. I'm just confirming that these are not illegal and I'm not buying an illegal machine gun. Print that email out, record that conversation, have backup after backup after backup. Don't become me. This is where I fucked up. I should have recorded the conversation with the ATF with them saying, hey, the auto key card is not illegal. Because I didn't record that conversation, we couldn't hold their feet to the fire, and we couldn't make them back down. That was my bad. That's why I probably deserve to go to prison, so I'd never make that mistake again. Get receipts. Like, again, calling the ATF is a great way, because then if you show up to trial and you're like, hey, I got an email right here, him saying it's not illegal, why would any reasonable person think that it is illegal when the specialist, the person enforcing this law, says it's not illegal? Get your receipts. Don't become me. And don't forget, this is not legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not pretending to be a lawyer. I'm not giving out legal advice. And if you take legal advice from me, you're stealing. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching my videos. Don't forget to shop at Only Tactical Fans at Shopify.com, where you can purchase plenty of cool merchandise. Again, that's what keeps this whole machine going. And I appreciate everyone that's shopping there. Now, if you want to support the channel but you don't want to spend any extra money, click on that Amazon affiliate link. Even if you don't buy what that link is for, just clicking on it. Doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. A little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.